Hey, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co., and today I'm bringing you gameplay of the Isofarian Guard, and there's going to be timestamps all over the place on this video, but I want to jump straight in with a few different announcements, starting with the size of this box. I don't know if you can see this is empty, which is the only reason I'm carrying it so cavalierly, but this is a giant box, and to be clear, the production copy is going to be larger. It's just a little bit larger. It needs to fit some more things in that this box unfortunately does not fit, which makes this the size of, I want to say Gloomhaven Plus. The relevance of that is, before we jump into this gameplay, it's worth noting that this was a $79 Kickstarter campaign that is still available to late pledge for maybe 6 weeks-ish. I don't know exact timelines. We'll figure it out. But the important part is it is going to be jumping after that period. If you want to get in on this at the $79 price point, well, this is your last opportunity. And if it sounds like I'm advertising this game, it's because this box, when full, is very, very heavy. And I don't even know if the game's good or not yet. I've briefly touched in the first scenario. I'm not telling you the game's good. You can watch a video telling you why I didn't back the campaign, but here I am, going ahead and exploring it all the same. We'll talk about that more, but I'm going to go ahead and dive into the first gameplay of the Isofarian Guard. Now, there will be a link down below where you can head on over to Quackalope's channel to watch the two of us dive into, well, once I meet Alec. You see, I'm going to be playing Grigory over here, and the way the Isofarian Guard works is you're going to have characters teaming up in the game. You're going to go through a variety of chapters. There's going to be 5 different chapters in the game, each focusing, is it 4 different chapters or 5 different chapters? I don't remember. I think it's 5 chapters, each exploring. The reason I'm confused is because there's only 8 characters, so I wonder how that plays out. But either way, each time you're going to have 2 different characters teaming up as you go through the story, as you go through the adventure, and then you can play it solo, controlling both characters, or 2-player. Now, when the game first starts, when you start chapter 1, you just have Grigory, so I'm here all on my own, even though I have a wild Quackalope sitting across the room from me, just looking into his phone intently. But we will team up at some point. And with that, I will say one more warning, which is going to be, I'm going to have lots of timestamps about the audio clips, because there's a lot of audio clips for this game, audio that is absolutely delightful, and I really, really recommend watching through it, or listening through it more importantly, because I'm going to have those audio clips into the video. I'll probably have some sort of fade to black kind of situation, because I'm not going to stare at the camera for 8 minutes awkwardly. I do that the rest of the video instead, but we're going to have those timestamps down below. Jump through it if you want, listen to it. Again, I do recommend throwing on those headphones, sitting back, and enjoying the story of the Isofarian Guard. I feel like that was a good place to end the video, but I'm not going to. I'm actually going to start now. So let's go ahead and dive into the campaign, starting off with the setup, or more specifically with the story, of the Isofarian Guard Prologue.
A cold wind bites into your face as you stare across the killing field. It makes your eyes water and then freeze, covering your eyelashes in tiny ice crystals. You close your eyes to melt the ice, and so you won't have to stare at the bodies. The Falmundians lay piled up in the narrow pass, where you and your fellow guards had ambushed them. A few soldiers had managed to survive the initial arrow barrage and attempted to flee, but they only provided slightly harder target practice. Even with your eyes closed, the images are etched on your eyelids. The surprise on the soldiers' faces, followed quickly by fear and panic. They hadn't stood a chance. Already, the wind and snow are working to sweep the carnage under a fresh white blanket. You and a couple of the younger guards begin picking through the dead like carrion crows, searching for anything of value. You brush the snow from a fallen captain, revealing a face that is far too young. Reaching into the dead man's pockets, you are rewarded with a folded piece of parchment bearing the broken wax seal of Falmund. Inside is a hastily scribbled letter in a script you can't read, most likely marching orders for the deceased squad. It feels odd to be holding the letter that sent its bearer to his doom. If the soldiers had been able to carry out their orders, it would be you lying in the snow alongside your brothers and sisters. You suddenly feel very tired. What is it all for? The senseless fighting, the waste of life. There is no meaning in it. With a sigh, you rise from the corpse and begin making your way toward Captain Grigory with the letter. On the way, you pass Pavel and Yana, who are busy rifling through another corpse. They glance up and notice the letter, nodding in approval, before returning to their grim task. Captain Grigory is deep in conversation with Vera, Catherine, and Karzan when you approach with the letter. The captain notices you and breaks away from the group.
What have you found, Yuri?
A letter on their captain, sir. Probably orders, but I can't make it out.
Captain Grigory scans the letter and frowns.
This is odd. It appears this group was not part of the regular army. They were a special detachment calling themselves Stone Hunters. What could their purpose have been?
I have heard of these Stone Hunters,
says Catherine, stepping forward.
They have bought into their Mad King's delusions about the Stonebound.
Stonebound? You mean the rumors of people with magic powers?
Yes, these Stonebound supposedly use special stones to give them magic powers. This group of stone hunters must have been tracking some poor soul when they made the mistake of crossing into our lands.
Oh, it's all nonsense.
Interjects Vera.
The Stonebound don't even exist. What kind of fool believes in magic and fairy tales?
What do you think, Karzan? Do you have any insight on the matter?
Karzan looks down at his boots and inhales slowly before letting it out. He seems to be weighing his thoughts. A few moments pass before he seems to reach some decision. He looks up slowly and meets the captain's eyes.
It's not nonsense. I have seen a Stonebound with my own eyes.
Karzan waits to be interrupted, but everyone is silent, waiting for him to go on.
This was a few months ago. I was on a galley patrolling just off the east coast near neutral waters. We had been out for about a week, and we were just making one last run of the coastline before returning home, when 5 Fallman ships came out of nowhere. They had been hiding in a cove, waiting for us. Before we could react, they had lobbed a ball of burning pitch right at us. Captain, I knew in that moment I was going to die. I could only stare as that ball of fiery death got closer. It was a perfect shot, and then it was gone. I couldn't believe my eyes. We all looked around to see what had happened. Someone pointed up at the cliffs above us. There was a lone girl standing there. I didn't get a clear look at her before she...
What? What did you see?
Well, sir, she jumped.
She jumped?
Yes, sir. My heart leapt into my throat. I thought she was going to die, but she didn't. She flew towards the Fallman ships like a falling meteor. Halfway down, a brilliant spear appeared in her hand, and she drove it right through the deck of the lead ship.
Vera begins to laugh. It starts as a snicker and builds up to a full-on belly laugh.
Oh, why have we never heard of this meteor girl of yours, Karzan? Let me guess. She destroyed all the ships, then flew back into space, but not before stopping to give you a peck on the cheek.
Enough, Vera.
It's true. She destroyed every ship there, then disappeared.
Vera doubles over in laughter until nothing but wheezing comes out of her.
Oh, Karzan.
Karzan turns away in disgust.
I know what I saw.
I don't doubt your sincerity, my friend,
says Captain Grigory, placing his arm around Karzan's shoulders.
But perhaps you were so scared in the moment that you weren't thinking straight.
Captain...
It's okay, Karzan. We'll speak more of this later. We need to check on Pavel and Yana, then head back to Silny.
Captain Grigory heads back down into the narrow pass, followed by Catherine and Vera, who is still chuckling and wiping tears from her eyes. You put your hand on Karzan's shoulder, offering silent support before following the others. When you reach them, your breath catches. There before you stands Pavel and Yana, each holding a strange stone. Stranger still, they are glowing. Karzin smiles and looks at Vera. She isn't laughing anymore.
Whew. That's what I'm talking about over there. So, moving into the campaign overview and setup, we're going to go through all these steps over here. This, by the way, is the rulebook. I haven't read the rulebook for this game. I've basically gone through the guide here because that's mostly what you need to do. A little bit of guidance, but past that, just going through the guide the campaign rulebook, so to speak, will teach you what you need to do. I filled my bag appropriately, so we have some chips in my bag, various chips that are going to involve fighting things. That's the adventure bag chip. This is my bag over here. And we're going to go ahead and start us off. So, Grigory is going to add, based on that story you just heard, Grigory is going to go ahead and add a card over here, the cross slash, which is going to be helpful in battle. I'll explain how that works when we first go through it. And we're going to take the corresponding garnet card, and we're going to put it underneath my weapon and take a 2-sword chip and add that to my bag as well. So we got a little 2-sword chip adding it to my bag, and that's going to be a big part of this game. It's going to have lots of bag building as you build out the way your character interacts, fights, all of that. And then we're going to go ahead and put Grigory's chip on node 28 over here. Node 28 is somewhere here. There we go, 28. And we're going to place a story chip. No, not yet. We're good to go. Now, as a note, technically speaking, I should just be using Grigory's chip on his own. But, I mean, let's be honest. These miniatures are much better, even if both of them are together. And with that, we're going to go ahead and turn the page and go on to the mountain pass.
Pavel and Yana are glowing. You blink your eyes, but nothing changes. They just stand there, glowing.
Stonebound.
The word forms in your mind. You immediately begin scrambling for other explanations. A trick of the light, a hallucination, anything to explain how two people can be standing right in front of you glowing.
Captain?
Yana's quiet voice pulls you out of your thoughts. You look up to see she is staring at you.
What?
Your voice catches. You can't seem to remember how to speak.
Captain? It's okay. Everything will be okay.
She smiles and places a small stone in your hand. Time ceases to exist. You are surrounded by an immense presence that threatens to overwhelm your senses. Pieces of your life flash before your eyes. Your father teaching you how to string a bow, fishing for striped fish through a hole in the lake ice, laying in the loft as mother's stories fill your head with wonder each night. You also see darker things. Stealing a chicken from Brother Fenn's yard, bloodying Carl's nose in a childhood fight, the terror of your first battle, the face of the first soldier you ever killed, just a boy whimpering for his life as you struck, again and again, trying to silence him. You look up and see a vast darkness stretching out before you. Tenuous. It rolls over you like a fog, burying you in shame and regret. Suddenly, a voice calls out to you from beyond the chaos. You turn to the voice, and the darkness is shattered. You breathe in, out, and everything is okay. When you finally open your eyes, your guards are all around you. Pavel, Yana, Catherine, Yuri, Vera, Karzin. You look at each of them and see that you are all something more now.
Stonebound.
The word comes to you again. In the back of your mind, the voice is still there, speaking to you, guiding you. You sense that it is calling you to a valley, the Valley of Lux.
Guards!
Your voice is odd in your own ears.
I know not what is happening, but I know that nothing will be the same again.
Your words seem to break some strange spell, and time resumes.
I can see that you all have experienced something like what I have. While we have been fighting our petty wars, A great darkness has come upon us unseen.
Your guards are silent, no doubt reliving their own experience with the enveloping shadow.
But fear not, for there is a mighty presence who guides us now.
At this, your fellow stonebound look up hopefully, and there are even a few smiles.
We can all hear the voice calling us to the valley, and I wish to go. But I feel it is my duty as captain to warn the king of what is coming.
You continue before there can be any objection.
Karzan, you are the most experienced guard here. I want you to lead everyone to the valley, while I travel to Silni. If I can make the king see the truth, we can strike a mighty blow against the shadow.
Karzan looks at you intently.
Captain, I will do my best, but I can't help thinking you're making a mistake by trying to convince the king.
Perhaps, but I owe it to the people of Isofar to try. They must know that the Stonebound are real. When I'm done, I will meet you all in the valley.
You give one last look to your guards, your fellow stonebound, before stepping on the road to Silni.
Well, it looks like we're going adventuring. We're going to go ahead and put a narrative chip over here. We're going to grab one of these narrative chips, and we're going to put it on node 32. Again, this is all basically being guided, or you're basically being told what to do as you play through this game. Now, as you go through it, this first section very much is on rails. The traditional way you'd go through the game is a combination of exploring, understanding that there's various areas you want to go to, whether you're trying to get resources, whether you're going to story points. In this case, we're going through the tutorial, which means we're being told where to move. That's not usually part of the progress, but that's what we're going to go ahead and do. So we're going to go ahead and move to node 29. Nope, we're going to move Gregory chips to node 30 over here. And we're going to go ahead and resolve an exploration phase. An exploration phase means we're going to go ahead and draw some sort of chip from this bag, and it's going to be a skull. So what we're going to do when we draw that, that's going to be that card. And we're going to pull this back, and with that skull, we're going to be fighting against a Brigand Marauder. And that's going to be that card. We're going to go ahead and find that. We're going to have a Brigand Marauder over here, where it's going to be a level 1 Marauder. So we have a Marauder. We're going to put it over here. We're going to remove these other. Do we have any others? Yes, we have different level Brigand Marauders. We're going to move those from there. And we're going to take this deck over here and just shuffle a bit. And this is going to be the enemy cards we fight against. Now this is going to be basic bag building sequence. I'll walk you through it. I may get some small steps wrong because I'm focusing more on, well, just going through the gameplay as opposed to everything being exactly correct. But I think I'll do it correctly. Let's go ahead and find out. So we're going to set the health to 7 on the general board over here. We're going to go ahead and give him 2 chips for his stamina. That's going to be there. And then we're going to set his other attributes, his strength to 1 and his shield to 1. And this should be an easy combat considering how weak he is and considering that I do have armor to protect against myself. This should actually be pretty easy. And I've already briefly gone through aspects of this game and it's not always quite so easy. Let's go ahead and find it out. So we're going to go ahead and start, and we're going to start by drawing chips from our bag to have this combat, and we're going to utilize it on our various cards. So we're going to start by drawing chips equal to our action cubes over here, one at a time from the bag, which is not really that relevant right now, but can be relevant as we draw other things. So we have 1 over there, and then we're going to have this one over here. So we have 2 shields, which is not a very offensive first turn. It sets us up decently, but not a very offensive first turn. So I can go ahead and use this to start adding to my bag and adding defensive spells, adding defensive cards, as well as give myself more defense, but I don't think that's necessary. What I'd rather do is I'd rather go ahead and turn these into a attack, because I think I just want to take them out. So in general, you can combine 2 icons to give you an icon of your choice. I'm going to combine these into a sword, and we're going to go ahead and put them into my discard pile over there. And I'm just gonna, maybe I should grab a shield. I'm just figuring out what I want to do over here. I'm going to go ahead and combine into attack. I'm going to go ahead and do a level 3 attack against him. He has 2 armor, which means he's going to go down to 5 over there. That's going to be the basic sequence over here. They have a nice little combat, a player aid you can run through, check equipment status for bonuses, choose a character to activate, that's going to be me, refill the bag if you need to, that's going to be the bag building aspect, you draw various chips, and then you're going to go ahead and basically utilize them against the other player. I'm going to put this on myself as the person who's drawn aggro, so to speak. Not really relevant in a one-player game, though. These have been... I've only used one of these. I used the 2 chips as a sword over here. No, I didn't use them. I didn't even use that. I'm going to go... I'm still fine with my turn. I actually didn't even use these in that case, but that's fine. And then we're going to go ahead and... I'm going to activate this card over here. Now, this card lets me go ahead and attack all enemies for +1 strength. So I'm going to go ahead and look at my strength attribute, which is 3. I'm going to go ahead and call it 4 because of that. Reduce it by 1 armor, bringing it back down to 3, and 1, 2, 3. Which is why I'm going for this, like, just trying to attack him as quickly as possible. Then he's going to go ahead and activate, and he's going to go ahead and flip his card. He's going to flip his card over here, the Brigand Marauder. It's going to choose a target, which in this case is going to be me, but there are various things, the highest strength, and if there's a tie, then aggro. It's going to attack the target using one of these and attacking for his strength +1. And then add 2, what are this? Add 2 of those. Let's find this over here. This should be somewhere here. There we go. Add 2 of these to the target's bag. So he's trying to weaken me, which I don't really appreciate. So we're going to go ahead and put these into my bag. And then it's going to, that uses 1, he's attacking me for +1, his strength is 2 now, which doesn't really matter because I have a shield of 2, so that's why I wasn't really worried about him dealing damage, although he has made me weaker. Then choose target self. If your health is less than 7, spend 1 of these and heal 3, which is kind of defeating the point of a quick exit over here. We're going to go ahead and go back to my turn over here. And we're going to flip. I didn't activate any cards. This over here should have cycled down to over there at the end of the turn. These cards are going to activate. Your gems are going to, your stones, stonebound, are going to activate every other turn effectively. And I'm going to go ahead and draw a chip from the bag. And I believe we should have, I'm going to just double check the reference over here, but I believe that just means I get a ping to my red. Does not count against draw. So I still get 2 draws. When a drawn or replaced, the target has -1 attack until the end of the round, which I don't love. And then I'm going to draw another one, and it's going to be a sword, and I'm going to draw another one, and it's going to be a sword. We're going to go ahead and utilize those swords to attack him. The problem is, combined with my... I don't love that over there. So, what can we do over here? I can go ahead and activate this over here to add another sword to my bag. So I'm going to go ahead and activate this with one of my action cubes to add a green sword chip to my bag. It's going to be a temporary attack. It won't count against my draw, which is the nice part. And it's also helpful because, well, my current attack's kind of weak. And then I'm going to go ahead and resolve this for a regular basic attack. And that's going to do, well, I have 3 normally, but it's down to 2. So only 1 damage to the Brigand Marauder, bringing him down to 4, which seems good, but it's not that great. We'll go ahead and take this out over here, and then we're going to cycle this into his card attacking us. We're going to refresh that. We're going to move this cube over here, and we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. Choose target. Highest, me, aggro. Attack target, 1 + 1, add 2. So it's basically the same attack, it looks like. He's going to heal himself again. I don't appreciate this at all, and he's constantly weakening me. I thought this was going to be an easy combat, but it's more of a frustrating combat. We're going to go ahead and choose that. So he's going to add 2 to my bag. He attacks me for +1, which again is going to still be 2 against my 2 defense, so not a factor. But then he's going to heal himself to 3. So 1, 2, 3, which is really not appreciated. I've made no progress. The good news is technically neither has he. We're just hitting each other. Which brings me back to my turn to continue the hitting each other part of this adventure. Oh, wait, before I do, we're going to move this over here. And we're going to flip this card over here. Whenever you activate one of your cards, you're going to flip it to the other side. Let me just check one thing over here. Discard all chips from enemies, return them, discard chips from character abilities, green chips, discard chips from positive negatives. Okay, I think we are good there. Perfect. Then it's going to be my next turn, which we're doing right now. And I'm going to, again, draw 2 chips from the bag. So, we're going to have a double sword chip. That's very helpful. And then we're going to have a weaken, which does not count against me, but it weakens me. And then we're going to have another weaken, which is really, really not appreciated. And then we're going to have another sword. So these 2 are gone, which is helpful. The problem is I'm effectively a 1 right now, which means unless I'm doing something cool, he can stop me. So what I can do is not much, honestly, not much. I can go ahead and activate to attack one enemy for +2, which I think I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to go ahead and attack one enemy using my critical strike, but it's going to require 2 stamina over there. And I'm going to attack one enemy for +2, bringing me back to 3, meaning I do deal 2 damage to him. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a basic attack, which doesn't matter at all because it wouldn't do anything to him. So that's unfortunate, but it's going to be wasted, but it is what it is. We have these chain abilities we haven't talked about yet. We'll get to those later. But I am going to go ahead and attack all enemies for +1 to deal another damage to him, or do I want to wait till I'm not as weak? I think I want to wait till I'm not as weak, even if it means I'm cycling it not as quickly, but that's fine. Okay, that's going to be my turn. This is going to cycle over here. This is going to flip, and we're going to continue with his turn, which is going to be the exact same attack. I did shuffle. You saw me shuffle. We're going to go ahead and add 2 of these to my bag, which is really... I only have 4 chips in my bag, which means it's really just making it very hard for me. If my health is under 7, bandage 1, heal 3, so we're paying for each of those. 1, 2, 3. Now, I don't actually know if he can heal above his health or not. I'm just going to let him, but I don't know how that actually works. We're just going to confidently move forward. That is going to be my turn. I'm going to go ahead and draw a thingamajiggy. I'm going to go ahead and reset my stamina. I'm going to hopefully not draw 2 negative chips. We got 1 negative chip. We got another negative chip, so at least they're empty from my bag. That's semi-helpful. Another negative chip. My strength is down to 0. 1 of these, and then we're going to go ahead and shuffle these back up into my bag. So my strength is 0 right now, which is not the best at all. And then we have a sword and a shield, which might be helpful. So we're going to go ahead and slot those back there. And we have a sword and a shield. We could add that to an enemy. That could be useful. We're going to add a -1 to an enemy. I think we're going to go ahead and do that. So we're adding... that's going to clear at the end of the round, though. But my strength is currently 0, which is really not helpful. I don't love it. I think we'll just go ahead and do these over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with this chip over here. While active, I have +1 defense, which isn't that necessary, but we do get to add a green chip to my bag. Green temporary shield to my bag. But more importantly, now is where you get to see how chain works. So we're going to go ahead and spend the other stamina and the other green chip. And we're going to put it over here, which is going to let us add a green chip to my bag. And then that should go away, by the way. Once you spend that, we'll get rid of it at the end of the turn. And actually, it didn't even count against my draw. Green chips don't count against your draw, so I should have 1 more chip, which means I do have that, which isn't that relevant, unfortunately. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to add another green chip to the bag, which I just did. And that is going to be that action over there. And we're going to be able to flip both of those, but we get to chain, which means we add another one. So when you play a card as the second ability, which we're doing now, you get to chain it, which means we're adding the chain ability. Which is helpful. It's helpful in that sense. Again, he's not doing damage to us. We're just trying to take him out. And then we're going to go ahead and we have this over here. We have this. Oh, we can do an attack of 0, which doesn't help us at all. And then we're going to move this here and move this here, flipping both of these cards. So we have that over there. And we are going to let him take his turn, which means he's going to reset his stamina. And we have, finally, something else. Choose target. Next ally. Diversion. Ally draws 1 card and performs all actions at 0 cost. Ally cannot draw another card after actions. So I don't actually know if it chooses another ally if there's no one there, because we're just facing off against 1 Brigand Marauder. He checks all of a sudden. Yeah, just 1. Just making sure. There's multiple combat boards. It's just going to be the one in this case, so we're going to call that a pass. Again, some of these things are not entirely clear. We're just moving forward through them. But we're going to go ahead and take our turn. So, we're going to start our turn off. I'm going to go ahead, now that I don't have nothing, well, let's go ahead and draw our chips. So I'm going to start by drawing our chips. We have a sword, which will be going away. Speaking of which, the sword should go away. Then we're going to be having a shield, which will be going away. Neither of these count against my draw. We're going to have another sword. This is going to be the turn where we might actually finish him off. Let's see how this plays out. So, we're going to start with, we could do that to weaken him, which could be helpful. I guess maybe if I do a chain, that might be more helpful. Interesting. So let's see how this plays out. Attack enemy for +1. Let's go ahead and do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cash in this shield over here to activate this ability. While active +2, we're not chaining anything. We're going to spend 1 of our stamina to do so. We're going to spend these 2 over here, which I'm going to return that sword, which is going to activate this, giving him a -1 to his defense. I'm just going to put it over there. And then we're going to go ahead and attack him for +0, which means we're just going to attack him for 3 because he doesn't have any defense. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to go ahead and use this. We're going to attack him for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then finally, we're going to go ahead and attack him with our last remaining sword. And 1, 2. We have finally killed him. He was tenacious. Tenacious, I think, is the word I'm looking for. He put up a frustrating fight. Although the good news is, everything kind of returns to the bag, and whatever we got in the bag, for better or for worse, sticks around. So that's going to be the combat situation over there. We're going to go ahead and turn the Brigand Marauder over. We're going to put his deck back, and we get 2 Lux Essence and 3 Sil. So we've just gotten some money and some Lux Essence, which we're going to record over here. And now we're going to continue our adventure. Let's put this back over here. We're going to cycle this back here, and we'll deal with cleanup aspects later. Onwards. Move Grigay's chip to node 32. That's going to be over here. And we're going to move it to node 32. Place Silney mini-map on table and place Grigay's chip on Silney's Seer Gate. Oh, wait, no, I skipped the entire thing over there. We have one more over there. Move him to 31. 31. We're going to move to 31, and we're going to follow instructions for exploration phase. So once again, we're going to be exploring. We're going to draw a thing from the bag. And we got a compass, which means we can choose whether to have an interaction or not, or whether to keep moving. I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to go ahead and put this back in the bag. Did I put it back in the bag? I think I did. Did I just chuck it on the floor? Nope, it's back in the bag. We're going to go ahead and keep moving. So now we're going to go ahead and move to 32, and we're going to place him on the gate. So we're now going to place this gate over the board over here, where we're going to go ahead and place them on the Seer's Gate over here, I believe it says. On the Seer's Gate, then proceed to page 6 and read Chapter 1.2. Seer's Gate, Grigay.
You round the final bend in the road and see the walls of Silney standing before you, cradling the city beneath the sheer face of Mount Yorel. You never cared much for the bustle of city life, preferring the company of a few good soldiers and the peace of the wilderness. Still, it has been a long day, and a soft pillow beneath your head would be most welcome. But first, the king.
Who goes there?
The familiar face peering down at you from the wall is wearing a lopsided grin.
You know exactly who it is, Alec. With you guarding the wall, I'm surprised Falmund hasn't already taken the city.
It's good to have you back, Captain. Open the gates!
There is a slight pause before the Seer's Gate cracks open, and then swings in with a great groaning of timbers. When you step through the gate, Alec is there to meet you.
Where to, Captain? The barracks or the Raven's Beak?
Neither, I'm afraid. I must speak to the king immediately.
The smile drops from Alec's face.
So you came upon trouble on your patrol then?
Yes, trouble and something else.
You suddenly feel self-conscious about being stonebound. You determine not to say anything until the king is notified.
I see. Keep your secrets then. Let's get you to the king.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and move his chip, or him more to speak, to Castle Strigg on this board over here. Then we're going to proceed to page 7 and read chapter 1.3. We will see you again in a second.
After passing through the chaotic city streets, you see Castle Strigg rising above the inner walls. Alec escorts you through the inner gate before passing you off to a member of the King's Guard.
Farewell, Captain! If you get the chance, stop by the barracks before you leave the city. I know the guard would love to see you.
Thank you, Alec. I'll be sure to do that when I'm done here. Make sure to keep your eyes sharp on that wall.
You return Alec's salute and turn to ascend the steps to the Great Hall. 2 more of the King's Guard pull open the hall doors, and you are greeted by the booming voice of King Karst.
Gregory, my faithful companion, I'm glad to see you. But your early return does not bode well. Tell me, what have you encountered out on your patrol?
King Karst's frankness is often jarring to outsiders, but you know that the king doesn't suffer foolish pomp or idle pleasantries. It is often best to get straight to the point.
My king, we ambushed a band of Falmund's soldiers in the mountain passes west of here. Judging by their brazen actions and the material they carried on them, my best guess is that they were stone hunters.
Ah! stone hunters. King Joram has gone well and truly mad. He now sends good soldiers to their death on a fool's fancy.
My king, I know this sounds unlikely, but King Joram may not be as mad as we suspect. I have seen something that will change our understanding of the world.
You pause, screwing up your courage before uttering.
The Stonebound are real.
King Karst locks his gaze with you before a new voice breaks the silence.
The Stonebound do not exist.
A cloaked shadow emerges from behind the throne.
Greetings, Temnota. I was wondering if you would be skulking back there.
Such disrespect is unbecoming in one of your stature. I'd be more careful, especially after espousing such heresy.
The truth is not heresy.
Well then, show us the truth.
She's definitely evil. I don't think there's really a question. Do we prove to Temnota that you're not stonebound, or do we speak to King Karst privately? This is a good time to note you're actually technically doing all this in the Foreteller app or over here, or in the case of you're just using timestamps to jump around. The bad news for you is you're not going to figure out which one to do. Do I speak to King Karst privately? She's definitely evil, but maybe I bait her out. Maybe now's the time for confrontation. Now sounds like the time for confrontation. We're going to go ahead and speak to her and prove to her that we're stonebound by proceeding to page 9 and reading chapter 1.4.
You hold your sword aloft, and it emits a faint glow. It seems to gather in the shadows from the room and absorb them into the sword. As the shadows disappear, the sword grows brighter.
Simple tricks for fools,
Sneers Temnota, but you can see that she is visibly shaken.
You make a mockery of our way of life, and will bring ruin on us all. Sire, you know that King Joram will bring all-out war to us if he even suspects that we have found this power.
King Karst sits stunned on his throne. He stares at you as if seeing you for the first time.
Who are you?
Temnota raises her voice again.
Sire, we cannot afford to go to war over one delusional captain. Captain Grigory has proved his heresy by his own actions. To claim there is a power other than that given to us by Uvadet is blasphemy worthy of death.
As Temnota speaks, the sunlight streaming in through the windows dims as if a cloud has passed in front of the sun. King Karst stirs slightly, but his eyes also seem clouded over. He finally lifts his gaze and speaks to you.
You must leave these lands.
Sire, this isn't you. Temnota has poisoned your mind.
That's enough from you. Guards, you heard the king. Captain Grigory is hereby banished from Isofar. Take him away.
The king's guard steps in to escort you out of the hall, but just before you leave, King Karst seems to recover slightly.
You may take any provisions you need from Fort Strass.
Temnota's eyes widen slightly before she narrows her gaze to give you a withering stare.
Be safe, Captain Grigory.
Well, that's interesting. I've never been banished before. I mean, not that I tell people, at least. We're going to go ahead and put a narrative chip down on Silsny Rionok Square over here. There's some sort of potion situation over here. We're going to upon arrival at Silsny Square, proceed to page 11 and read chapter 1.6. So we're going to go ahead and move there, down over there. And we're going to proceed to chapter 11 and read 1.6.
You pass through the streets of Silsny in a daze. There is no doubt that Temnota and the Circle of Seers have been thoroughly corrupted by Tenebris. Your heart aches for King Karst, but you can only hope he can resist Temnota. Perhaps you can rally support from the guards at Fort Strass. Maybe there are some there who would listen to their old captain, even if he did claim to be stonebound. Lost in your thoughts, you realize you've wandered into Rhinox Square, the bustling center of Silney. The crowd is thick and noisy as merchants call out to potential customers, and people weave around the heavy carts rumbling along their routes between warehouse and stall. Out of the corner of your eye, you happen to catch a glint of steel. You instinctively raise your arm to block the blade, but the attacker scores a small hit on your arm. Temnota certainly didn't waste any time.
Well then, okay, so we just took a point of damage. We're going to go ahead and grab that Seer's Assassin. So we're going to go ahead to here. We're going to a 2-star Seer's Assassin is going to go into our player board. We're going to set their health to 15 over here. So it looks like we do 10 and 5. This looks how we do that. And I'm going to set they're going to have 3 of these chips, so they're going to be more of a threat, it seems, which is not the bestest, but better than we'll see. Okay, let's go ahead. Do you have any of the Seer's Assassin? We'll put these off to the side. Then we're going to go ahead and shuffle their deck. And if defeated, we place them back at Silsney Castle and continue from the end of the page. Heal Grigory to 20 HP. Oh, that's if we die. Interesting. That is interesting. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and start the combat sequence over here. So we have our chips over here. We are good to go. In general, by the way, health doesn't necessarily reset or re-heal at the end of combat. So let's go ahead and figure this out. We're going to go ahead and begin the combat phase. So let's see. We are doing our thing, which means we need our bag. Combat time. We have a little hand-down player aids over here if we need them. And then we're going to start by drawing from the bag. Kind of want to level up, honestly, but it's not ready to level up. This chip should be over here. And we're going to go ahead and we draw an extra sword. It's going to be a solid starting round. Although he has 2 defense. Ooh, that's a really solid starting round. He has 2 defense, though, which means it's going to be harder. Wow. Okay, we're just going to slap him in the face to begin off. Although, we're going to go ahead and attack. So, we're going to go ahead and spend... We have plenty of swords. I think we're just going to go ahead and just try to power aggressively through him. We're going to go ahead and place this over here to... Ooh, although if I combine, then I can chain. I can chain to do that, and he has more attack. So I'm going to go ahead and combine these two to chain into a shield, returning that sword, putting it over here. Oh, then I won't be able to do that. That requires 2 stamina to do. That requires 2 stamina. Oh my gosh, this is harder. Okay, where were we? We had this over here. I think we're going to go ahead and... I think we're just going to go ahead and do that. So we're going to attack one enemy for +2. So our 3 becomes 5. 5 to his 2 means he's going down 1, 2, 3. We're not chaining, unfortunately. We have to spend both of our chips to do that. We're going to do 2 basic regular attacks with that, which means a basic 3 against his 2, which means only 1 damage to each one. 1 there. He's down to 0, which is good news. We're going to use our cross slash to go ahead and do a +1 damage attack. That means our 4 against his 2 again. So again, we're going to move down 2. So he's going to go down to 8, which is a good starting point, honestly. You know, going down to 8 from 15 on our first turn, but that likely is as powerful as we are going to get. And we have activated that. We're going to return that chip over there. And now it's going to be his turn. Let's go ahead and we'll take this off. We'll flip this card. And then we're going to move this down here. And we are going to let it be his turn now. We'll set those or whatever. And boom, his turn. Choose target. That's going to be me. Highest attack target, Viper Strike. It's cost 2 of these +2. Wow, so he's attacking us for 5. If attack deals damage, add 1 to target's bag. I don't appreciate having a potion thrown into my bag. Where is the potion is the real question. Okay, there's somewhere here. There are potions. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and add a potion to target's bag. I don't know what those do yet, so we'll check that up when we get to it. Then he still has 1, so we're going to tonic 1 Seer's Assassin, heal 2, and draw a card. Why? Why are you healing 2? That's not how this is supposed to go at all. You're back to 10 over there. We're going to go ahead and flip a card. And it's going to be that. So the interesting thing is he doesn't have any more of this. So these all cost that, so it's not really relevant. He won't be able to pay for those, which means it's going to be back to our turn. We're going to go ahead and we're going to choose our chips. We're going to draw 2 chips from the bag. We did take damage. Oh, did we forget to take damage? We did forget to take damage. He did 5 damage attack against our 2 health. We took 3. 1, 2, 3. It's a good thing to remember that stuff. So we drew a shield over here, and we're going to draw a sword. Shield and swords means we could just go ahead and debuff him, but it's not really going to help us to do so. I think I'm going to go ahead and take cover. So we're going to go ahead and do take cover over here, where we're going to get +2 defense while that's active, which is going to be helpful. And then we're going to go ahead and put this over here, and we're going to add 1 chip to his bag. We're going to add a chip to his bag, and because we're chaining, we're going to add another one, which gives us another room for a little powerful attack over there. That's going to cost us our 2 stamina. Then at the end of the round, this is going to shift over there. We're going to move our stamina back up, and we're going to go ahead and return these. Well, I don't think we flipped these just yet. Let me check the exact sequence. Those flip at the end of the round. That's relevant because of the if active part, which means I have +2 defense, which is going to help me, well, hopefully. We're going to play the Seer's Assassin. We're going to restore his aggro. Lowest, that's going to be me. Ending blow. 3 and +4. Well then. So he's going to be dealing 7 damage to me. Fortunately, I have 5 defense because of my +2. That was a good time to buff up. So I'm going to go ahead and take only 2 damage. I say only 2 with the understanding that I still need to actually hurt him. So that's going to be that situation over there. And then it's end turn. So he's going to cycle that back up there. Bringing us back to our turn. Before we do so, we're going to clear these. We're going to flip these cards. And then we're going to proceed. We're basically like switching back and forth between these various stances over here. We're going to go ahead and have hopefully a lot. Ooh, now's the time when we read what that card does, because I don't know what that potion does. Does not count against draw, added from character. When drawn or placed, the target immediately loses 1. Well, that's not fun. That's not fun at all. Okay, we're going to go ahead and lose 1 health over there. We're going to put that off to the side, over there. And then, where'd it go? It came from over here. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and draw our other chips because it does not count against our draw. We're going to draw 1 green sword, 1 green sword, 1 black sword, and 1 shield. So that's a whole bunch of stuff we can do over here. We can chain these properly, but we won't be able to do everything I want, unfortunately. We don't have the shield. I could go ahead and do this. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do this over here. So I'm going to go ahead and lower his defense right there. So that's going to be giving him a negative debuff to his defense, which means he's now down to 1 defense. Then I'm going to attack him for 3, which means it's going to deal 2 damage. So he goes down to 8 again. Then I'm going to attack him for 3 again. He only has 1 shield, so that's another 2 damage. And then we're going to do this one where we're going to attack him for 4, which is going to be 3 damage. 1, 2, 3. We brought him down to 3, which is a good start. I'm feeling pretty good with that. Not like totally confident or anything, just decently good with that. We're going to go ahead and cycle to his turn, and he's going to take his action, where he's going to play the Seer's Assassin. It's going to Disrupting Dagger. 1 and +1. Discard 2 sword chips from target's bag. Joke's on him, I don't have anything in my bag. Okay, so he is trying to disrupt me, but nothing in my bag. So then, he's going to attack me for +1, which is 4 against my 2. I'm going to take 2 damage. I am at half health. Let's just not talk about that. And I don't heal between scenarios. We're going to go ahead to Swiftness, where he's going to gain a green cube, which I should probably look up what those do right about now. Because again, the nice part is we don't need to know a lot of these things, because most stuff will be told to us as we go. Most stuff, I say. Refresh exhausted AP. Oh, green is temporary AP, I believe. He doesn't actually say this. Green AP for the targets. It looks like it's a green AP, which I believe looks like it's a temporary AP. Same idea as the green chips in general. So he gains a temporary thing, which until he uses that, which could be helpful for next turn. He's going to go ahead and end his turn, put those up. I have no chips in my bag. I'm going to put these over here. I'm going to flip this card, and I'm going to cycle this down to over here, and then put these in my bag because it's time to start attacking. We're going to go ahead and go ahead and draw 2 chips. We have a sword, and we have a shield, which is not the worst. I could add an attack to my bag. What is that? A sword. That I believe gives me +1 strength. It's a green strength. It's not count. It gives the character +1 attack during the round it was drawn. That could be useful-ish, I guess. I feel like there's better things to do. But the problem is I can't chain anything otherwise. So I can do a basic attack against him, which would be 1 damage. I think I'm going to go ahead and prep for the next round. So I'm going to go ahead and add a green bolster chip to my bag over here. We're going to grab that from over here. That's going to give me +1 strength the turn it's drawn, which can be helpful. It's going to cost me both my stamina, so that's my turn. I'm going to move this around over here. We're going to take this turn over here, and we're going to play a card. It's going to go ahead and attack target, Acidic Blade, +1 strength. It's going to go ahead and deal, again, 2 damage to me. Not loving this. Slowly make my way down, adding 2 poison to my bag. And then end turn. Okay. That's going to be quick and simple to the point. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my turn, which we're going to take these back over here. We're going to flip these, and then I'm going to start drawing chips. So I have 2 poison in my bag, which isn't lovely. We're going to go ahead and draw 2. That is very helpful. And then we're going to draw, give me a plus. Nope, the poison's not helpful. That's going to be 1 wound. He's so close to death. He's so close to death. I'm going to draw another sword from the bag. So the good news is I can attack him this round for, like, stuff. I can attack him for stuff. I can go ahead and do a +2 attack. That would be, I'm just thinking this through. This would be 2 for +2, which means my attack of 5 against his health of 2, which would be enough to go 1, 2, 3, which means he is dead. Which is good, because I actually get to keep that chip for next time then. Cool, I didn't even activate this. I'm going to go ahead and draw that, flip that, and then we're going to put these all back in the bag, and we have successfully defeated the Seer's Assassin. Chapter 1.6 Victory. As Assassin slumps to the ground. Oh, we're going to actually do it with the app.
As the assassin slumps to the ground, a small panic erupts in the crowd around you. Before things get too out of hand, you slip into an alleyway and get lost in the many side streets of Silney. Before long, you reach the King's Gate. It seems that luck is with you, and the gate is still open. Word of the killing has not yet spread to the wall. You blend into the crowd and walk out of Silney, alive, but shaken.
Okay, well, we have a goat skull mask accessory, which can go in our accessory slot. Once per turn, you may mulligan once. Ooh, I love it. I love it. I like mulliganing, which we took off his face over there. You can see in the picture. Then we're going to go ahead and move Grigory to node 35, which is going to be on the map, I guess. I guess I'm moving on the map. That seems about right. Move Grigory to node 35. We're heading out the gate, which means we can put this off to the side. And then we're going to go ahead and proceed to page 14 and read chapter 1.8. You can see this other thing is going to be the branching story path because 2 story paths.
You walk along the road to Fort Straz, pondering what your next move will be. Should you try to persuade the guard to join you? Join you for what? To march on Silney and kill Temnota? Overthrow the king? You are ashamed of the thought as it crosses your mind. The truth is, you have no idea what to do next. You stop walking and close your eyes. Maybe the voice can tell you something. You take a deep breath and clear your mind. But before anything can happen, the sound of footsteps approaching from behind grabs your attention.
Captain Grigory, sir?
You turn to see Alec standing before you at full attention.
Alec, what are you doing here? You should be guarding the wall.
My shift was over and I was in the barracks when the rumors started pouring in. Captain Grigory has been exiled. Captain Grigory was seen fleeing the city.
Alec stops as he notices the dirt and blood staining your clothes.
Did you get in a fight? Captain, what's going on?
You look Alec up and down and sigh.
The rumors are true.
You can see that Alec is bursting with questions, but he lets the silence stretch out.
It's a long story,
you finally say, turning back to the road. Alec catches up to you and matches your stride.
I think I may understand more than you think.
Alec carefully reaches into his belt purse and pulls out a glowing stone.
Alec, are you...
Stonebound,
he finishes.
How? When?
A few weeks ago, I heard the voice and I became stonebound. I had a vision of a great valley where other stonebound were gathering, but I felt the voice telling me to wait for something. And then I saw you.
Alec pauses, waiting for you to take the lead.
Alec, I'm not sure what to tell you. I tried to reason with King Karst, and I only managed to get myself exiled. I'm headed to Fort Straz for supplies, but after that, I don't know where I'm headed.
Well, wherever it is, we'll go there together.
Well then, it looks like it's time for our little Quackalope to join the adventure as Alec. We're going to go ahead and heal Gregory to full health points over there. We're going to grab a narrative chip, and we're going to put it, the narrative chip, where's the narrative chip goes? It goes on node 48. 48 is going to be over, it's like right over here. Oh, here we go. Node 48, we're heading to Fort Stroth, it looks like. We're currently on node 35, heading to node 48, and we're going to go ahead and get Alex set up, and we'll join you shortly over on Quackalope's channel, although you may have been there first, in which case you should have headed here, because this is the first part of the adventure. That's going to be the first part, the introductory on-rails part of the Isofarian Guard. We're going to be moving on to a little bit more of the two of us together attacking and doing all that stuff, and then we'll see where this takes us. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this starting playthrough of the Isofarian Guard, and we'll see you shortly.